What's up, Ryan?
The audience can't see this, but it's a visual gag. I'm holding up a sign right now that says "Hi," like Wile E. Coyote.
Very ironic considering that Wile E. Coyote, you know what? I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that little nugget of wisdom until we're a little closer to that episode. Hey, everybody. I'm imagining Ryan is holding up another sign.
I know it's hard for the audience right now, but I'm also holding up a sign that says "Hey guys."
Welcome to Looney Dunes. Welcome to Looney Duels, a show where we power scale the Looney Tunes 100% seriously. There aren't jokes here.
I've never made a fucking joke in my life.
No.
I'm here for the facts.
Yeah, if you're here to listen to something like funny or something, that you could podcast to wash your dishes too. That's not what this is. This is very serious. I hope that all of you listening have been taking extensive notes because there will be a quiz. Also, by the way.
Unsubscribe from this fucking channel if you're not taking Daffy Duck's powers seriously.
Yeah, and he's sensitive, so how could you do that to him? How could you not keep track of all his powers?
If you're not taking this seriously.
Wait, okay. Back it up a little bit. We are not responsible for anyone spontaneously combusting due to not taking Looney Tunes power scaling seriously.
I'm not responsible, but I hope it happens to you if you're not.
So, we watched some shorts.
Fuck, we sure did.
They kind of they were kind of a little crazy. They were kind of wild. Kind of wet and wild, even.
We didn't watch any Roadrunner this week, but that doesn't mean we escaped Wile E. Coyote at all.
No, in fact. Actually, Roadrunner was there too.
I guess he was.
Yeah, we saw him, but I literally went, I don't want to watch a Wile E. short this week. So I tried to pick ones that didn't have him in it. Little did I know he'd be in two of them. So, you can never win. He's everywhere. I guess that's his influencer power.
Fucking
He's
true.
always making cameos. That's how he makes most of his bread and butter. He shows up into Looney Tunes shorts, and he's like, I'm just I'm here so that you guys can get exposure. I'm here to help get you guys.
Yeah, he's here to lift the other Looney Tunes up as clearly the most popular character.
Yeah, I mean he's so famous on TikTok and whatever's gonna come after TikTok. Yeah. This dates this podcast so horribly. So our first short is called Superior Duck. It's a Chuck Jones one, so one of the later ones. I don't even want to bother trying to explain the quote plot of this one because there's not really a plot.
This is a short where Daffy Duck flies around and it has brief interactions with every Looney Tunes character and a narrator, basically.
Yeah, he's dressed up as a new superhero persona, which I guess he is just pulling these out of his ass, because this is Superior Duck, very different from Duck Dodgers and any other superhero persona.
Although, he still has the command of the eager young cadet, which is worth noting.
Yeah, Porky does show up, just to kind of show up, I guess. It's weird because it's set in this sci-fi, Jetsons ass background, and the first Looney Tunes character he runs into is Foghorn Leghorn.
It's weird seeing him in a setting like this because he's so confined to the barn most of the time. Right. I can't process the idea of Foghorn Leghorn walking down the city streets.
Yeah, it's very weird. He just shows up and he punches Daffy. And it's a very powerful punch. So I guess this is episode short whatever is more of a showcase. It's really giving us some needed interactions because we can use what these guys are doing against Daffy to gauge other Looney Tunes interactions that don't happen very often. Because how often are you seeing Daffy and Foghorn in the same spot? Not enough. Definitely not enough. So we can see here firsthand that Foghorn could beat the shit out of Daffy Duck.
Yeah, that's a matchup to keep in mind. And Foghorn Leghorn feels no sympathy for Daffy Duck in this universe and will beat him up.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because in the Looney Tunes show, they're such BFFs. They're so tight, They love each other.
Daffy and Foghorn Leghorn would not find each other in any universe. They don't have that relationship, sadly. That's
so sad. Marvin's there. He hits him with a disintegrator ray, and then we get a Tweety appearance, which whatever, fuck him. We get a Roadrunner Wiley. Wiley wants to eat Daffy Duck.
Yeah, so any theory you had about Wile E. Coyote only wanting the Roadrunner, throw it out the fucking window because he will eat anything now.
He's gone. This is desperate enough.
which has called into question so much of any of his actions. It has now made a lot of the questions I had about him just ordering a pizza very confusing. Because I thought it was a pride thing, and it's clearly not a pride thing. He just wants to eat. I think I can now conclude Wile E. Coyote is stupider than I initially thought.
That's so rude, but so true. Wiley, he like Roadrunner's there, he's chasing him. Roadrunner runs off, and Daffy's just like standing there. So Wiley's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm eating the duck.
I have some questions about the superior duck form he takes.
Okay, let me hear your questions.
I'm not quite sure what new special abilities he gets from it. I don't quite
None.
get the difference between superior duck and Darkwing duck.
Whoa, wrong duck.
Yeah, Duck Dodgers. This appears to just be. I see. Here's my theory. I don't think this is Daffy Duck. I think this is Duck Dodgers taking on a persona now. This is a persona of a persona.
So Duck Dodgers is like, you know what? I'm tired of the Duck Dodgers name. I want to be another guy. I'm Superior Duck now. And that's why he still has the cadet.
Yeah.
Because the cadet's just along for the ride. Like, he doesn't really care what Daffy's or Duck Dodgers is calling himself, you know? He's just like, okay, sure, you're Superior Duck now, I guess. Like, whatever.
Well, here's a question to ask, actually, on that note. Does Daffy gain command of Porky the second he turns into one of these forms?
I think he... Oh, that's a good question. Well, did we ever establish if Porky if that's Porky or if that's a separate character?
It's Porky playing a role, so it's Porky.
Okay, it's Porky. To an extent, because I think we've seen like moments where the cadet's like kind of like tired of Duck Dodgers, right? Like rolls his eyes a little. So he, maybe initially could have control over him, but he couldn't like make Porky do anything he really didn't want to do, right?
Right. But
if push came to shove.
I think the biggest question I'm trying to ask here is if Porky assumes Dark Porky form and Daffy's in Duck Dodger's form, does he command Dark Porky?
Oh my god. Oh. That's a tough one. Because like Dark Porky does he still have any of that like original Porky in him? Is it like Goku going Super Saiyan, or is it like, like a whole nother creature? That's a question for the comments, I think. I want to hear what people think about that.
There's a lot to dissect here with Daffy's command of Dark Porky, in my opinion.
That could really turn the tide for him. That could really help them out a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, always have to bear in mind that at the end of the day, if it's just him and Dark Porky on the field, who do you think's getting out of that one?
Hypothetical here that Daffy and Dark Porky are the only ones left. Daffy's like, I won! And that's when the twist comes in, like Dark Porky grabs him by the neck and like, you thought.
One more thing about this one. It marks the first appearance of a character I don't think we're going to talk a lot about. Tasmanian Devils in this one.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot he was in this one. I didn't write any notes about him.
He shows up, he like tries to eat Daffy. Like he immediately goes for it. And then this might be an important statistic. He spits Daffy out because he's like, ew. Like this duck sucks. Like this guy doesn't taste good. Mm. And then Taz vows he's a vegetarian now and runs away. Like, is that something that could protect Daffy from the Looney Tunes that like are carnivorous,
It's that he canonically tastes bad.
Yeah, he tastes bad. So if Henry Chickenhawk tried to eat him, would like he just like spit him out, or
right.
like not like just like take a bite of his arm and be like, ugh, that's not chicken, and then he'd like let him go?
Yeah, to the viewers at home, add tastes bad to Daffy's stats.
That's very important. I think that's a very powerful defensive skill to have as a Looney Tunes
because
character.
I don't believe that like fucking I forgot his name.
Which one?
Tasmanian Devil. Taz.
You forgot Taz's name? How could you say you read a Looney Tunes podcast?
I had a moment of forgetfulness. I was like running through my like Foghorn? Porky? No, Taz.
Can you apologize to Taz real quick for me?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Taz, that you don't appear until like 40 years of the Looney Tunes that are in 3 shorts. And your legacy comes from like you being in things afterwards.
Like Space Jam.
Taz will definitely eat raw animals. I mean, I've definitely watched content where he has So I don't think he draws the line eating raw duck. I just think Daffy tastes bad.
Okay, so it's just Daffy, like not duck.
It's just Daffy. Daffy tastes disgusting.
Okay. Now the way this short ends, we have another character. I guess we have to add him into the mix. Superman shows up.
Yeah.
Superman shows up and is like grabs Daffy and is like, "Hey, like get off my streets. I'm patrolling this area, bub," and like grabs him by the neck and throws him away. And
Right.
Daffy's like, "Oh, okay. I'll bug off."
And then he becomes like Superior Bug.
Yeah, he becomes Superior Bug, and that's how the short ends.
Which is now a persona of a persona of a persona.
Yeah, we're really getting deep into Superior Bug, Superior Duck, Duck Dodgers. It goes on and on. I guess this one didn't really have it. I mean, Daffy lost to everybody.
Yeah.
So
The winner is Superman.
The winner of this matchup is Superman. Now, the funny thing is, we didn't see Bugs in this one. Huh?
No, Bugs is not at the party in this one.
I wonder why. Maybe they didn't want him to hog all the screen time.
He had better things to do.
Yeah, they came to him with the script and he like read it over and he's like, "This is a bunch of cameos. I'm not doing that crap." And he went
I
back in his
am an
hole.
actor.
Well, the next one. Oh, the next one.
This is Museum Screen.
Yeah, who worked on this one?
It was directed by Dan Povenmire of Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah. So this is a more recent Looney Tunes, which I don't know how it got in the list like this. You know, we've talked about our messed up list, but you know, we just roll with the punches here.
This is a more recent one, and it's Sylvester versus Tweety, but I'm gonna ignore all that for a second. There's a stat you need to write down right now, everyone at home. Granny is in the short at the start for the first like minute, and then she disappears for the rest of it. And we learn, and this is important, this is really valuable knowledge, Granny is a flat earther.
Yeah. It's like set at a museum, and Tweety is an exhibit, and she's like talking to some kids, and she just offhandedly mentions like, "Oh, and you know that's why I like, you know the Earth is flat," or something like that. It does not elaborate, does not go on, never brought up again.
No.
Does this mean, do you think she's into like other conspiracy theories, or is she like solely just like she maybe stumbled across like the bad part of YouTube and she's like, you know, old, so she doesn't really understand it?
I don't want to think about Granny being the like worrisome conspiracy theories. I'm just gonna go she's into flat Earth because she watched like a Facebook video on it and like not anything beyond that. I don't want to think about all the horrible conspiracies Granny could believe.
So she like was just on Facebook and like somebody shared a Facebook video of like some guy like going like, "And so as you can see, these flights don't make any sense. The circumference of the Earth, the fisheye lens here really doesn't bend in the right way."
Then Granny goes, I believe that.
She shares it to all her Facebook friends. So yeah, just put that, just like a little, you know, pin in Granny's profile that you have written up right now. I know you're all poised in your Google Docs right now, just like ready to write down the stats as they go. That's a big one for Granny. That'll come to bite her in the butt, I think, at some point.
What do you have to say about this short otherwise?
Nothing. Wait, no, okay, I got something. There's a moment where Granny's talking about Tweety and says that he's like a rare bird, like his species has been nearly hunted into like near extinction. And I think that's pretty canon, like in general, because we don't see a lot of birds like Tweety in the Looney Tunes verse. And if you think about the movie King Tweety, where he is like the sole heir of like the throne of that bird island, I think it makes a lot of sense. No, listen, I watched that movie. We gotta talk about the movie now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty consistent that Tweety Bird is, you know, one of a kind, unfortunately. Well, actually, fortunately, because if we kill Tweety...
I was going to say, what? Wait a minute.
If we kill Tweety, then the species is wiped out, so that's good.
Yeah, there's a poop joke in it that Ryan audibly said boo to when it happened.
Jesus Christ.
And one last thing I'll have to note here is that at some point, Sylvester gets like thrown through a prism of light, and he separates into like Osumatsu-san or whatever, and he starts like trying to get Tweety as like a team, like of like 5 or 6 Sylvesters, and he fails very badly, which leads me to believe that even if Sylvester could somehow like clone himself and, you know, had more people, you know, like-minded people working for him or with him, he would just self-sabotage like every time.
Right. So
that's like not a valid strategy for him.
I think the deeper thing to look into is perhaps Sylvester doesn't love himself.
Whoa.
Like if he can't work with himself, maybe like he has. That's why he was going to therapy, you know.
That's right. He was in therapy. We can't forget about that. That's an important Sylvester stat.
So when the Looney Tunes are all on their big battlefield, their big Fortnite island, and Sylvester splits into multiple versions of himself, that's a weakness for him, not an advantage.
Right, exactly. That's not going to help him out.
No.
Like, it's really not. Well, yeah, who do you think won this one? Oh,
Audience at home. Guess right now. Who won?
No, don't.
Who do you think won? No, who do you think won? Without like close your eyes, like who could it be? It could be anyone. It could be anyone. Who do you think it is?
I loved that at the beginning of this short, there was like a little, like in the logo, there was like a clip reel of like all the time Sylvester like got Tweety in his mouth, and like it just made me angry.
He's so stupid. He just needs to chomp
so many times. And he just needed to like bite down a little harder, and he could have won.
There's something like that in this short too. He like puts Tweety in a light bulb thing
instead
of just eating him, and he has to like make a whole show. Like he's like, "Don't move." Like, geez, Sylvester, what do you think's gonna happen, huh? What do you think's gonna happen when you leave that Tweety bird there and go, "All right, don't move. Please stay still so I can eat you." What do you think is gonna happen, you stupid cat?
So yeah, Sylvester didn't win that.
He fucking lost. Dan Pomeroy will let him win.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been so like cool and subversive for him to have let him win. Do you think that in the new Phineas and Ferb series that he's gonna, I don't know, let like Doofenshmirtz win?
Doofenshmirtz has won before.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't watch
Candace has never busted her brothers though, so
I think that should happen at the end of this series.
Maybe Dan Povenmire's a cruel creator who will not let his poor characters win, so the status quo can remain. That's so sad to think about.
But no time to be sad. We have the boys.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Oh, quite. We have a Goofy Gophers.
I do believe we do. I do believe we do have the Goofy Gophers.
Yes, a bone for a bone, which when I read this title, and I knew it was a Goofy Gopher short already, but when I read this, I was like, not the Shakespeare dog again. I was eventually like really annoyed. But it's actually just another Looney Tunes dog, a fresh new Looney Tunes dog. His name is GOP Dog, which, okay. Sure.
I gotta be honest, though. This guy brings a bad name to the Looney Tunes dogs.
Yeah, I think, like, when he first showed up, I was, like, so excited. I was like, oh my god, a Looney Tunes dog. I, like, wrote it down immediately and, like, put a bunch of exclamation points, but boy, does he suck. I mean, he's just rude. Like, he's so rude and hot-headed for no reason. The conflict could have been so easily resolved, my man.
The conflict of this short is the Goofy Gophers so politely and kindly ask him to just bury his bone elsewhere, not into their home. And at first he says yes, and then it's like, all right, the short could be over. You could end it here. If you wanted to, at home, you could just end the short there and pretend everything worked out. But unfortunately, Dingus McDumbass over here feels a weird, like superiority thing. Was like, wait a minute, I can't let these gophers tell me what to do. And then he buries it back in their house, sealing his fucking fate, and I feel no sympathy for him.
Yeah, the moment you pick a fight with the Goofy Gophers, like, that's on you. The Goofy Gophers are never out to antagonize. They are very docile creatures. They play cards with each other. They hold hands. But as soon as you, like, wrong them, they're gonna at first try and reason with you. They're gonna step up and be like, excuse me, can you not drop your bone on our, on our beloved home that we've made for each other? And then the dog had to go and be homophobic. I mean, what the fuck?
This guy sucks. He's such a bad... Like, this guy, I think, single-handedly would drag the Looney Tunes dogs down, like, in the Battle Royale.
Yeah, they'd have to, like, distract him with something. They'd be like, hey, GOP dog, why don't you go just over there for a little bit? Why don't you go just stand in that corner for a second?
Like, Leopold would be leading the team. Like, he's the leader of the Looney Tunes dog. And he's making this really good plan for them to, like, take down Elmer, who's hunting them down, and they're all huddled up, and then GOP Dog's dumbass, like, I don't have to listen to anyone, and then he wanders off and gets shot by Elmer fucking Fudd.
That's his fate. Poor GOP Dog. Well, maybe if he wasn't such a bitch.
He's such a bitch.
There's this one thing that I just really like, and it could be useful factoid here. At one point, GOP Dog gets his hands on one of the boys, one of the gophers. He's like holding him,
mm-hmm.
and the gopher's like, "Oh my, do you mind if I call for help?" And he's like, but whatever." And then the gopher yells as loud as he can, "Help!" And the other one like immediately like appears and like helps him out immediately. They can summon each other.
That's a really important stat for the Goofy Gophers. Is like if like say Sylvester, the dumbass cat, like kidnapped one of them and like ran off like halfway across the map, tried to eat only one of them. If one of them yelled, if the one that is kidnapped yelled help, the other one would zoom over immediately. Like they don't like auto like location in their brains.
They're psychically linked.
Right.
They could like telepathically communicate.
Of course.
It's beautiful. Now, I think the way that they like kind of defeat him is kind of scary.
Yeah, it's horrific.
They trick him into like going into their little underground, and then they lead him into like some gas pipes,
mm-hmm.
and then they shut him in the gas pipes, and so he's in the dark and he doesn't know where he is. So he lights a light like a match, and he fucking blows up.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to bury him alive at first, but luckily they blow him up, which maybe is a little less worse of a fate in Looney Tunes world.
Yeah, because at least he's like, he gets blown up and, he's fine. He's just like all charred up, and he just like decides to leave. He just says, you know what, this isn't worth it, and he leaves.
I was going to say, this short I think just reinstates like what we've learned about the Goofy Gophers is that if you just leave them alone, you'll be fine, but if you bother them, you've sealed your fate.
Now, here's the thing. I think in a big battle royale as it was, the Goofy Gophers would be the type to like kind of hang back and wait.
Right.
They're not leading the immediate charge. They're not the ones dying within the first 10 minutes. They are going to be there in the last 10 minutes of the big battle.
Right.
They might not win, but they will be there at the end because they'll be biding their time. They're not going to rush into it. They're going to be underground, eating some, carrots, playing some cards, having gay sex. And then when it's time, they will burst from the earth and, stake their claim.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're very patient and cunning. Add patience to the list of their abilities.
Is that an ability?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Goofy Gophers win. Yay! Another win for the Gophers.
And the
Whoopee!
pathetic, embarrassing loss for the dogs of the Looney Tunes world.
It's kind of a double-edged sword there.
Right.
Well, I think it's time to talk about Operation Rabbit. This short. Mwah. Mwah. Thank you very much. I loved this one.
Yeah, it's good to see my dear friend Wile E. Coyote in a short where I can write something new about him.
Yeah, so this is a fun little take. They did a few of these, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, this is a Bugs versus Wile short, and in this short, Wile talks. Was there ever a moment where they like called him something different, like Ralph Wolf or something like that? Or am I crazy?
Ralph Wolf is a separate character who looks exactly like Wile E. Coyote with a red nose.
Okay, that's what I thought. So this is Wile E. Coyote. Mm-hmm. Now he talks in this kind of like British accent, and he's got this very fun character trait of being like a self-proclaimed genius,
mm-hmm.
which is so fun because, when I see him chasing the Roadrunner, I feel bad for him. When I see him here just talking shit and like, getting what's coming to him, it's funny when Bugs Bunny just like actually owns him.
This is one of those ones where Bugs Bunny is like not even trying that hard. Like Bugs Bunny is like walking through this one.
Yeah, Wile shows up and he's like, just so you know, like I'm your neighborhood coyote. I'm going to eat you. And Bugs is like, shut up. Just goes back to his house. Like, he's not overly invested in this. He's not, like, putting his 100%. Like, I feel like he even puts more effort when he's fucking with Elmer than
Right.
he is right now with, like, Wile E. Coyote. He's like, this guy's annoying.
He's like, this motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. He's, like, absolutely over it.
Mm-hmm.
But Wiley's just fun. He's a lot more fun because he's like in his house, his little cave. He's like drafting up all his plans because he's a plan maker. He's got all these blueprints and stuff, and he's just like, oh, positively genius. Oh, I'm so smart. Things like that. You're just like, you want him. You're just like, God, shut up.
I think it recontextualizes some of these like silent shorts too, because now we know this guy's an asshole who can just order a pizza and he's doing all of this.
He's doing it because I think, like, genuinely, he's not, like, super stupid, right? Like,
No.
He definitely has some, like, technical skill. I think that all of his plans are failing because he's overconfident and, like, just, like, doesn't think things through, right? He gets the initial concept and he's, like, immediately like, okay, gotta try it. Like, he doesn't test it. He doesn't think it over. He doesn't try and, like, improve on the idea. He's just like, first idea, that's gotta be it. I'm so fucking smart. Here we go.
It is, they are Bugs versus Wile is the textbook example of street smarts versus book smarts.
Yeah, exactly. Like, every little thing that, like, Bugs does. Like, one of the gags that got me was, Bugs fake surrenders, and he's like, yeah, I just want you to sign my, like, will as a witness. And he hands him, like, a dynamite as a pen, and Wiley's like, oh, I'm not gonna fall for this, right? And he blows out, like, the dynamite, and then he, like, turns it over, and the other side is also lit, and he just blows up. And it's just such a funny little, like, quick little gag there. I just love it. It's so funny.
An absolute stinker moment from Bugs
Yes.
being a little stinker.
Oh, absolutely. Now, doesn't this end with, like, Wiley getting, like, cooked a little bit by Bugs? Like, he, like, reverses his pressure cooker on him.
Right, yeah. This ends with him, his plan blowing up in his own face, and he walks over to Bugs, and he just kind of informs, like, I give up. And he falls on the ground, and he says his name is Mud, and Bugs Bunny turns to the screen and gives the zinger of all time, which is, Mud spelled backwards is dumb.
So this is a good one because I think it really does give us a look into Wiley's inner monologue a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of explains a lot of his actions. Definitely imagining his TikToks now a lot more clear. So,
right.
He's taking POV shots of all his, like, planning and stuff, and he's like, showing it to all his followers about he's definitely gonna prank that rabbit. He's definitely gonna fucking eat him. It's beautiful.
Right.
But yeah, Wiley, still no win.
Yeah, he fucking loses. We learn he's a super genius, but, like, in giant quotation marks.
He's smart, especially for a coyote, but not smart enough. The world is against him, Mr. Coyote.
All right, do you want to do some questions?
Yeah.
All right, this is from Angular in the YouTube comments. Which character would you think to be the most appropriate for a scene where a chickens has gone missing and a lone Henry chicken hawk stifles a loud burp, stating his lack of knowledge on said chicken's whereabouts, while simultaneously trying not to draw attention to the large chicken-shaped mass in his stomach?
What do you think?
It's gotta be like a farmer, I think, because I think otherwise it's too dire. If Foghorn sees a chicken eating, it's dire. But, like, if it's Elmer the farmer, then it's funny.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be something like that because it can't be an animal.
No,
animals would feel too much for that.
I think maybe if you consider Porky a human.
I think he can stand in as, like, that kind of humanoid character because I don't think we've ever seen a short where Porky acts like a feral hog.
No, he's not a feral hog.
Which would be really funny.
Yeah, can you imagine Porky on all fours?
What if that's what Dark Porky's like?
Ooh.
Like, Dark Porky's like a feral porky, like a pig.
He's Forgo Porky.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna defeat Porky's first phase, and then he gets out on all fours. He goes, "Brah!" He starts running around and slapping his fist out and sitting on his Porky fire waves.
Good question. Thank you.
Okay, here's another one from Super Mush Hill Act 1/1. Would you consider the Looney Tunes show version of Lola to be more akin to a Chuck Jones-esque retool or a Bob Clampett-esque retool compared to her character in, well, anything other than that show? By the way, when I say retool, I mean sort of like the change Daffy went in before and after the Chuck Jones era started.
I think I think it'd have to be more closer to Chuck Jones though, because Chuck Jones's like versions of these characters are like kind of self-aware in a way, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And like Lola from the Looney Tunes show is like almost self-aware in a way.
Yeah.
Like I think he would, if he was like retooling her, if she existed back in the day, he would like make her kind of like a ditz, because it would be like funny. Like it'd
Right.
be like a subversion of her, like maybe like she was like, oh, like a sex symbol or something before. It's like, I'll make her like ditzy.
Make her a dummy.
Yeah, I don't think she's quite like goofy enough. I mean, she's goofy, but she's not like bouncing off the walls. Like she's kind of set in a very realistic setting, so like she doesn't like do like crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of her humor is like dialogue based, which I think a lot of Chuck Jones is like he uses narrators a lot.
Right.
And so there's a lot of dialogue based humor in a lot of his stuff. So I feel like Lola, as we knew her in the Looney Tunes show, is like closer to that kind of vibe, I would say.
All right, that's fair. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I think it's time to wrap up this episode.
Where? Oh, why does it always have to end? Well, thank you everybody for commenting and then checking us out. Tell your friends. Next time we'll watch more shorts. Who knows? In maybe a few episodes we might do something else. I don't know. We haven't watched Space Jam 2 yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
I mean, we have, but we haven't watched it for this yet.
Yeah, I don't want to. I haven't watched it.
That's gonna be a 2 hour. That's gonna be a 2 hour long episode.
I have not watched Space Jam 2 since the first time I watched it.
I have so many opinions about Space Jam
Lord.
2.
Well,
They're gonna burst out of me. All right. Well, that's all, folks.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hope.